Hey there guys, we're taking a look at Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain running on the i5-1135G7. Now this is currently running at 1080p with the lowest possible settings, and the performance is actually pretty solid. This game's entire engine was just really optimized to be able to give you the most consistent performance possible on very weak hardware. This was one of the best looking games that came out on this console generation when this was out, and the game really does a solid job of giving you a 30 FPS experience. Now you're going to see that our averages are of course above 30 FPS, but those 1% lows are pretty much sticking to that 30 FPS. And you know, the Metal Gear Solid games, they're very much movie and game, so you kind of want a consistent experience throughout all of it. You don't want just the gameplay to be great, you also want those cutscenes to be perfectly in line with all of that. So the fact that we're getting a very consistent 30 FPS experience here is actually pretty solid. You're going to get a pretty enjoyable experience here. I would recommend just locking the FPS to 30. I tested it out on here and it doesn't introduce any frame stutter or anything like that, because VSync on certain titles will introduce very obvious frame stutter. And a good way to test if VSync is doing that to you is actually to pull up the frame time charts, and if you see consistent spikes happening when you have VSync on, that lets you know that you are probably getting some noticeable input lag. Of course, I am happy to see that in the open world section as well, we're able to actually keep a consistent FPS. We're barely dipping under 30 on occasion. This is very good, very consistent FPS. And like I said, those frame times are perfectly fine. You don't see any huge spikes or anything like that, or any consistent stutters. That lets you know you're not getting any extra input lag from the 30 FPS lock. So you're going to be getting a very smooth, consistent experience. And that's going to hold up for pretty much the entire consistency of the game, at least from what I've played, and I kind of ended up playing a lot of this. I mean, just getting through the intro section alone, that's like almost like an hour-long cutscene, and then you get onto the open world section here, and you kind of just get really sucked into it. But you're going to have a very consistent experience, and if you don't have an FPS counter and you're playing with like a controller, which is what I was doing, honestly, the 30 FPS lock didn't bother me at all because it was so smooth and consistent. But anyways, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.